Hi everyone, Greeno here, and welcome back to some more Euro Truck Simulator 2 action. So this is the first episode I've recorded since the newest update, the 1.43 update, which of course kicked me back to my home base of Leipzig. There's a load more stuff been loaded into the game with the update, there's a load of viewpoints and stuff, so I wonder how many of them we're going to catch along the way over the next few episodes. But today marks a bit of a special episode. We're going to start our exploration of France. Let's go. Before we get underway on our trip to France though, I've been spending a little bit of money once again. This time upgrading everybody else's trucks. So you can see here, the engines I've got in these now, I've upgraded some of the engines, some of the transmissions, things like that. And it's really given these people a lot more power. Now I'm hoping what that means is it's going to increase the variety of jobs they can pick up. I've also decided with the drivers to adjust their training a little bit too. So people like Alexander have got an ADR, John here have got an high value cargo. They can all do fairly long distance trips, but they're doing those trips with not very well paying jobs. So my idea is if I can train them up a little bit in either the ADR or the high value cargo jobs, then even if they're doing shorter jobs, they should be pretty well paid. That's the plan. Also my plan, we're going to try and get rid of the Leipzig base. It's just not profitable. So what I plan to do, the next location I buy, I am going to transfer to and make that my personal base. It'll probably be somewhere in France. Not sure yet. We'll wait and see when we come to it. But what I'll do then is I'll move myself from Leipzig to that location and probably just sell the Leipzig location and maybe put another one somewhere else. That's the plan. Anyway, that's a little way off yet. Let's go and see the job I've got lined up for us today. So as I mentioned, the new update kicked me back to Leipzig where the base is, which wasn't a bad thing because I was heading back in this direction anyway. So what I've done since then, I've picked up a couple more jobs just to kind of get me across the country a little bit here. So I went to Kassel first here, and then I took a job from there into Dusseldorf. Now the interesting thing about Dusseldorf, around here you've got 4 cities very, very close together. So you've got Cologne, you've got Dusseldorf, you've got Duisburg, and you've got Dortmund. And when you go to the external contracts, all 4 of those come up because they're close enough together. So that's kind of cool, something to bear in mind in future. It kind of really increases the amount of jobs available to you out of that area. But what we're going to do, we're actually going to go to the freight market to find the job that I want to do today. We're going to go and look at this job in Duisburg. We're going to take some fluorine across to Le Havre. We'll pop into Liège on the way. We'll call into whatever this little town here is. I don't even know the town. Paluel. And we'll end up in Le Havre. And that's going to be the start of our odyssey to get all around as many of these French cities as we can. So, let me go and get the job hooked up and we will get on the road. So, as you can see, we have now picked up our load from this fairly industrial looking kind of chemical plant. So we've got a load of fluorine on the back of here that we're taking to France. Now what I'm thinking I might do is actually, even though I don't really need to sleep, actually take a rest fairly soon. I've got about 8 hours left in the sleep meter, but of course it's coming up to about 9 PM now, and obviously whenever I'm recording these episodes it's a bit nicer if we do it in the daytime, isn't it? So that's what I'm thinking I might do. Take a relatively early nap in an hour or two, wake up in the daytime, do the rest of the drive in daylight so we can see a bit more of what's going on. So anyway, let me get underway, get out on the road a little bit, and we'll see how far along we get before we make that first stop. So we've made it out onto the Autobahn. You can see it's coming up towards 10 o'clock, already getting dark here. I found a rest stop that we're going to stop at around midnight, pretty close to the German-Belgian border. I think that'll be a good place for us to stop. And then we can wake up in the morning and we're going to take a little detour into Liège just to pick that city up. Now I did have a little look at that other French place. Was it Paluel or something like that? The place I said I'd never heard of. They only have one industry there, which is a nuclear power plant. So I'm kind of minded to miss that out on this trip and actually go there to do a delivery at some point. To take the detour to get there would have added about another 2 hours onto the trip anyway, and I didn't really want to do that, if I'm honest. So I think we'll pick that up by actually doing a delivery there or a pickup from there at some point. What's going on here? Someone can't drive as well as I can. Luckily they didn't block the road for it though, so that's something to be thankful for. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to crack on, get this kip under my belt in a couple of hours time, and we will pick up bright and early tomorrow morning. Oh, we've got a bit of an incident here on the left hand side, but we're not stopping for that. Off we go. That was an easy one to get around, wasn't it? No problem there at all. Okay, so we've had our little nap. It's now 9 AM. You can see my drivers have been busy little bodies overnight. They've got me up from about 111,000, which I was at the end of last night when I went to bed. And got me another, what, 35,000 euros this morning. So, very welcome. So, what we're going to do now, head out onto the road. Hopefully nothing coming from that direction. And we are going to head to Liège. It's not a city we've been to before, so we're just going to dip in and out of it to pick the city up. As you can see here, we are just about to cross the Belgian border, so it's not very far away from here. So yeah, once we get close to Liège, we will pick up again. But for now, it's Auf Wiedersehen to Deutschland, and bonjour de Belgique. Okay, we are heading into Liège now. Haven't quite discovered it yet. Oh, there we are. That's discovered. And on the right, on the left-hand side, there is a question mark, which we're going to pick up any second now. There we are. We've got a recruitment agency here in Liège. I'm going to have to take a little bit of a detour around the city by the looks of it. Some pretty interesting buildings there. They look pretty cool, don't they? Yeah, not been to Liège myself, so don't know what they are. Looks like a big churchy kind of thing, maybe. So, yeah, we will maybe come and have a little mooch around here at a later date when there's something for us to pick up or to deliver here. But, yeah, for now, I quite like the look of the place. Anyway, so that's the city picked up anyway. We are now going to head back out and try and make our way towards the French border. Okay, we've managed to finally get out of the city of Liège. We're back out on the road now, just passing the airport. You can see the air traffic control tower there. Liège was difficult to get out of. Got caught by every single red light available. So, there we are. These things happen. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about this 1.43 update. I know they've spent a lot of time remodeling some of the graphics and some of the cities too. I think Lyon is the one they've mentioned has got the biggest kind of revamp in this update, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that looks as we end up there eventually. But this checkpoint thing is what I'm really excited about, or the viewpoint thing. So I know they've put this into the Iberia DLC when it came out. There are a few different places you can stop, and there's like a little cutscene about it, and it's pretty prevalent in American Truck Simulator too. They have some lots of different vista kind of points that you can stop at there. Cool different bits and bobs, and you get a little cutscene of the scenery or the historic monument or whatever it might be. So it's pretty cool that they're putting more of those into the base game and some of the other DLC. So I think I read there's about 35 or so that they've added into the game now. I'm not sure where they are. I'll have to look up and see exactly where they are and try and work out which routes we're going to be on to pick them up. But yeah, definitely something to look out for. I think that's going to be really cool. Anyhow, we've got about 5 hours to go. We're still in Belgium, heading towards the French border. So we'll pick up when we get there. So here we are, folks. Bienvenue à France. We are crossing the border from Belgium into France. And the start of our little French odyssey begins. So we're going to try and get around and see as many of the cities as we can. I think this is going to be a really interesting DLC for us to drive. France is probably the country outside of the UK that I've spent most time in my life. Lots and lots of family holidays there and other sort of trips. Yeah, probably even more time there than I have in Hungary, to be honest. So, really excited to get around and see some of the places that I've been to and what have you. And of course, with this being set sort of in the summertime, it should be visually really nice. One of the things I really enjoy about driving around this part of the world is in the summertime you get these great big fields of sunflowers and corn that they're growing for the cattle. The vineyards, of course. I mean, don't forget the vineyards. Who could forget the vineyards? So I think it'll be visually pretty cool, this. And it'll be interesting to see how they factored in the difference between where I am now, up in the north of the country, as we get further south, because of course the climate does vary pretty dramatically. So, yeah, I think that's going to be pretty cool. So it looks like we've got a toll booth to get through here. Of course, being back on the French motorways means we have to start shelling out to drive on the road. I don't know. But how long have we got left to go? Not long now. It's about 3 hours, so let's get on with it. Let's get close to Le Havre. So we've got a little over a couple of hours to go now on the drive. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I'm pretty excited about, sometime in the next few days, I guess it probably will be in the next week, we are going to see the Euro Truck Simulator 2 Christmas event kick in. Now this is a pretty cool thing. Basically just means you get all these jobs delivering Christmas presents everywhere. So they're pretty cool looking loads. You know, imagine the sort of Coca-Cola truck times 10. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what I might do, because it seems a bit daft doing that with the summer kind of weather on, many of you may have already seen an excellent video by Zilla Blitz where he shows how to add in the winter weather mods. So what I might do for that is add those winter weather mods in, so it's a bit snowy around and give it more of that seasonal feel. I have no doubt it will cause all sorts of havoc to my driving, which, as we know, can be a little ropey at the best of times. So I should think, if it's going to be dark a bit more, if it's going to be snowing, going in snowstorms, icy roads, yeah, there could be all sorts of problems, couldn't there? But I reckon it'll be a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to look into doing that as soon as the Christmas event is launched. We'll stick some snow into the game and see how we get on with that for a week or so. Yeah, could be interesting. Anyway, not far to go now. About an hour and a half left. So let's get to Le Havre. So here we are, entering Le Havre. And apparently that gives us 9 cities out of 31 in France towards the Bon Voyage achievement. So we obviously had picked up some in the base game. There's a little bit of France in that. This is the first sort of from the DLC. So that's the challenge. We've got another 22 to get to. Now, of course, Le Havre is just about in Normandy, which is yeah, a region of France which has quite some history with the UK, if we go back to William the Conqueror and the like. But it's a part of the world I really like. Le Havre is a city I've been to a number of times. You can get the ferry there from Portsmouth. It's a pretty easy route into France. And from around there you can visit places like Honfleur and Barfleur, which are nice kind of fishing villages, towns, however you want to call them. Beautiful little harbours there to sit with a moule frite and some of the local cidre. A sort of fairly weak, fairly flat local cider, but it's quite tasty. Obviously this region is renowned for not just its sort of mussels and other seafood, but apples. Big on apples around here. So there's lots of different pastries, lots of different tarts, all made with apples. And of course, not just the cider, but the Calvados, which is an apple brandy, which I absolutely love. One of my favourite things. Mrs. bought me one for my birthday, actually, which yeah, didn't last as long as I think she'd hoped it would. It was absolutely delicious. So yeah, so it's a part of the world I really like. It's you know, a gateway to other regions, but it kind of, in terms of climate, in terms of geography, it kind of feels most like the UK out of anywhere in France, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a home from home when you're there, but yeah, there's lots of good stuff to go and to visit and enjoy. And Le Havre obviously is one of the gateways to Paris from close to where I would live. If you want to take the ferry across, it's probably the sensible route I would take if I was doing that. Anyway, I'm not quite sure how close to the port we're getting here. I guess you can probably catch a ferry from Le Havre in the game. Although I don't think Portsmouth is in the game. I think it's only Southampton, so that's about as close as you're going to get. So I guess it would divert there. But you can sort of see this is a port town. There's lots of containerised freight and whatever around. Yeah, it looks like we're maybe even delivering into a port by the looks of it. So we've got to turn left here. Okay. Nothing coming there, so that's fine. And then just around the corner, somewhere in amongst all these containers, is where we got to deliver.
Get ready to turn right.
It's fluorine. I don't know whether they're taking this over to the UK or what, but
turn right.
Okay, so that's where we got to stop. You can see the sea there, English Channel. Beautiful stuff. So I wonder what kind of parking job we're going to get in a place like this. That'd be kind of interesting. So it's a 90 XP one. Now, how does that... Should we go and have a little look at that? What that involves? A skilled driver. Oh, Jesus. Well, that rules me out then, doesn't it? Oh, come on, let's go for it. Let's see what it involves. Looks like I've got a little bit of a drive to get over there, so we'll come back when I'm kind of closer and know what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see what the jobs is going to entail. Getting back in between those two containers. I don't think that's going to be too tricky as long as I get it lined up right. That's the challenge, though, because I thought I got it lined up pretty close, but I was lining up between for the wrong one. So give me a minute and we'll see how close we can get. I think I'm pretty close now. It's been complicated a little bit by this container here on my left-hand side, so I keep kind of nearly crashing into it. But fairly confident that we can now swing in around there. Are we going to be lined up close enough for it to give it to us yet? Come on, be kind, be kind. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. The lights have gone green. We have managed to get it in. Perfect job. Yeah, it was a little trickier than I thought at first glance, but it worked out okay. So, a pretty successful drive. There we are. 26,000 odd euros. 1,300 experience points. Pretty happy with that. So, on to the next job, wherever that will take us. I think this has been a pretty exciting episode, for me anyway, to get into northern France, a place I really, really like, and the start of our French Odyssey. And if you've enjoyed this as much as I have, don't forget to click that like button and help me get seen by more people. And if you're new around here and not yet subscribed to the channel, don't forget to click that little button, ding your notifications, and come and hop on the Greeno bus. There's plenty of room for you all. And of course, if you've got any comments about today's episode, or the series as a whole, or anything you'd like me to see, or like to see me do even, while I'm here in France, then drop it into the comment section below. It just remains for me to thank you for watching, and I will see you soon for some more action here with Euro Truck Simulator 2 in France. Bye for now.